2009 Russian River Pinot Noir harvest was definitely a challenging one. In a cold year, we do see a lot of acidity in the wines. We sat back, we had to exercise a great deal of patience while we waited for the bricks to rise to give us a certain level of potential alcohol in the wines to compensate and balance for that acidity. It was definitely a harvest where we needed a lot of patience and really had to monitor each individual block, sample it quite often, taste it, and as soon as we had the right structure to the seeds and skins and the tannin level and the sweetness that we wanted, we had to harvest those vines before they went over the top in terms of ripeness. But the wines that we're just starting to taste now are really evolving into something special.
The 2010 vintage started out with finally a winter where we had about average rainfall after some winters of drought. So that started us out pretty good, nice kind of even bud break, and then the weather just turned off very, very cool. In fact, I think it was probably one of the coolest vintages on record. So it did pose some challenges in the vineyard. We didn't have the best set, so there was some variability in the clusters that really made a challenge for all of the spray programs, so we could make sure that we delivered clean fruit to the wineries. And then in August, late August, we actually had a very, very high heat streak and really compromised some of the fruit. But we got that fruit removed and we moved into a fairly nice pattern in harvest. It was a little bit later than normal, a lot of long hang time, and I think that the Chardonnay really benefited from that. We were able to bring in some beautiful fruit with very high acidity, and I think that it shows in the wines. And I think it's going to be a vintage that was very much challenging in the vineyard, but very, very rewarding at the winery.
2009 was the third of three successive drought vintages in the Russian River Valley, and it started off pretty dry spring. We had pretty early bud break. Growing season was almost ideal, not too hot, not too cold. We were a little bit later, as the season progressed, so pushed the season back just a couple of weeks. What made 2009 unique from a Pinot Noir standpoint is the just ideal balance. The grapes had good physiologic ripeness, great acidity, and the wines that progressed from the harvest had beautiful richness and ripeness, great amplitude to the fruit, lots of vibrancy aromatically, and then the wines had great structure. There was quite a bit of tannin, but it was buffered and soft and round and rich, and the wines were developing beautifully in bottle. Really excited about 2009 vintage. I would compare it to 2007, just in terms of its suppleness and nice layered quality in the mouth. Really excited about that vintage. And then with 2010 was a wet, very wet spring. We had some frost events in the spring as well that definitely throughout the county and Russian River Valley had affected the overall crop. We saw a reduction in crop for ourselves of maybe 10 or 15%. And then we had a couple events through the growing season that handed us a few challenges. So it was a bit of a roller coaster of a growing season, just in terms of it was relatively cool and wet, and then we also had a couple of heat events in July. But there was only wines that had great precision because the cool finish to the vintage, August and September, were very cool, bright natural acidities. The Chardonnay has beautiful elegance and very expressive aromatically. The wines have a lot of floral notes, beautiful kind of citrus character, nice bit of stone fruit, definitely on the more green, brighter fruit characteristics. And then great acidity, not big and powerful ones, but just amazing elegance there. I think that I've really been enjoying them at the table with many different things, but just very, very elegant.